Okay, in this video, we're going to have a look at a situation that arose in the Queen's Gambit Declined, in which Black brought out his queen rather early. The move itself was not a bad move, but it led Black into trouble. And I'm going to show you what happened and also a trap that White needs to avoid in this situation, and perhaps what Black should have done and what the consequences were of Black's second move. What happened after Black moved his queen, which is where disaster happened. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the game. I opened with d4, and we have the Queen's Gambit Declined. And this is all very standard stuff. Now, here, I expect Black to move the bishop to unpin the queen and also to free up the king's side for castling. That's not the only acceptable move, and in fact, Black's move is another acceptable move. e3, c6, still all fine. Bishop to d3, very standard. Now, this is where we have queen to a5, not in itself a bad move. And what is the idea? The idea is to put pressure on the knight, pinning the knight to the king. And with an option at some stage of bringing this knight down to put pressure on c3, on the c3 knight. The queen has moved away, so the knight is now free to move as well. But what happens next makes that a non-starter. The book that I used to study the Queen's Gambit, John Watson's A Strategic Chess Opening Repertoire for White. John Watson recommends that White here plays knight to e2. But I didn't do that. Instead, I played queen to c2. What happened next led to disaster for Black. So Black went ahead regardless with this move, and it's a fatal move because White will simply take. And what you have to look at is this line here. So Black's king is unable to castle. And in fact, Black's king is unable to move at all. So Black's king is stuck in the middle. And when we look at this, it's at the very least, White is going to gain a pawn, but it's worse than that. So Black has jumped in prematurely with the knight to e4. We take. Now if Black takes, the queen takes, and it's check. And the king can't move out of check. Bishop to e7 is fatal. That is checkmate. The only plausible move for Black, if Black doesn't want to lose his queen straight away, is the knight here. But at this point, my opponent resigned, and probably that was correct. But I will show you the options that Black has, which are not very many, on this Lichess study board. So we'll go through again. So you can see these are all very standard Queen's Gambit Declined moves. And as we can see, we're still more or less equal with that move. And so here, still more or less equal. And we can see now the recommended move by Lichess is to unpin the knight and prepare for castling. But here, queen to a5, and there's a slight increase in White's advantage, but it's not very much, just 0.7. And so now we come to the move that I made, which is this move. And we can see what happens when Black does that fatal knight move. It's now a massive advantage to White. Indeed, take, take, take. Now it's a winning advantage for White. And the only sensible option is to bring the knight down. And if we do that, let's just show you. Let's just take this a bit further. If we do that, Lichess recommends a queen exchange because we're winning a piece. So we win the knight, and once we exchange off queens, then we move into a game where white has a massive advantage. Okay, now white does have to be careful here in this Queen's Gambit Declined opening, where black makes the move knight b to d7. So now from here, if instead of making my e3 pawn move, if here white looks at this pawn, which is now apparently undefended, the bishop is pinning the knight to the queen, so why not simply grab this pawn? Why not take advantage of this pinned knight's inability to, well, of course, the knight could take back the, well, let's see what happens. So we take the pawn, and to our surprise, Lichess shows us that this is now winning for black. How is this possible? And indeed, it's recommending that the knight take the knight. So let's see what happens when we do that. Knight takes knight, bishop takes queen. So we're a queen up, apparently. We should be winning this, but no, we are losing. White may be feeling very happy, but white is actually losing this game because we have, bang, we have a bishop check. The king cannot move out of check. The only way that white can defend this move is with the queen. So already here we could simply exchange off queens. But first, the queen is stuck. All the queen can do is take the bishop and fall to the knight. So black is in no hurry there. So black can simply take the bishop. And this game is now winning for black. So beware of that trap. The trap occurs in the fifth move of the Queen's Gambit following this pattern. Queen's Gambit Declined, where we have knight b to d7 in the fifth move. Do not take this pawn, my friends. Okay, so with all that said, what about this move that apparently doesn't seem to be very advisable, which is to say this queen to a5 move? Well, in itself, it's not such a bad move, provided that black takes some care. This is what John Watson says about that early queen move. Queen to a5 resembles the Cambridge Springs, a variation in which white's knight is committed to f3, as we can see here. And that black's aim, as we have seen before, is to bring the knight down to e4, but not yet. So black needs to make some preparations first. So let's just play it through a little bit more and see what Lichess recommends. Let's play first of all the recommended move here. So this is John Watson's recommended move to add protection to this knight and prepare the king for castling. So if we follow this through, let's go with the recommended moves. King castles, and the king castles. And so now we have the queen c2 move, which still is preventing this knight from coming down here because there is so much protection now of e4. And so, in fact, according to Lichess, it's time to give up on the a5 queen move and look at this weak pawn down here. So there we go. That's perhaps a better way for black to prepare and to set up if you want to do the early queen to a5 move. As ever, if you're a beginner or an amateur player with no impressive track record, then beware of bringing out your queen too early. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. That's it for now. More videos coming up soon. This has been David Hurley of EasyChessTips.com. Until the next exciting chess video.